So we have the creature vote for the center up. We have the top 10 right here, and in this video we're going to be going through all of them. I'll give like a brief explainer on each creature and kind of go through some stuff with it. But real quick, if you want to vote, and please vote this time, because there was a major drop-off in votes from the Ragnarok vote to the Aberration vote. I think it was like over 10,000 less votes in the Aberration vote, and a lot of people weren't super happy with the winner of that. So what I will say is, you know, if you want to kind of help determine the next creature in ARK, you need to vote. So link is down below. Please do it. Let's try and get a ton of votes onto this one and pick a really good winner. But anyway, real quick explain on how you actually do that. You click that link down below, you're going to be brought to this page right here. You're going to be met with the top 10, and you got to basically set them in an order that you like them in. So you want to actually focus on trying to actually order all of them, but mainly what you want to kind of do is focus on your top 3 and your bottom 3 or 4 or whatever. So if there's something you really like, pop that up at the very top. This means that this is your number 1 slot, but make sure you also address number 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5, mainly because if you don't do that, you know, if this is the one that I like and I only set that one in, if this one loses round 1, then this is now my vote. Even though I didn't actually choose that, because it's there, that's kind of how it works. So it's kind of like an elimination thing. So this one goes out, that one slots up into my number 1 slot, and this one is no longer in the running. That's kind of how it works. So yeah, anyway, check out all the stuff down below after you watch through these submissions, and yeah, let's go through it real quick. So this is the Saivodus. I think it kind of just looks like a giant basking shark, obviously with teeth. Basking sharks don't have those, but yeah, I actually was not familiar with this guy. I really like the fins, actually. The dorsal fins are kind of weird looking, but I really dig it. They have like these extra little points on them as well, which I really like. I think that this guy could be pretty cool in the center. And actually, here's another thing before we fully get started. The center has a lot of water. Do we not want a water creature? Let's try and get a water creature. I'm not saying don't vote for the land creatures and the flying creatures that we have in this vote, but I mean, like, goddamn, you know, this is one of the only chances that we're gonna get to actually pick a water creature and have it make sense. You know, there's a lot of water on that map. Obviously, Genesis Part 1 as well as another contender, but we'll see. Out of those 2 maps, I could probably see maybe one of them actually getting a water creature. So anyway, yeah. So this dude, what does it actually do? They have it called the Man-Eater. So obviously, I wonder, can it just eat people whole? So they wanted to obviously be able to bite, which a shark should be able to do. They wanted to have like a heal pulse, kind of similar to like a Daedon, which could be kind of interesting, like a water Daedon almost. And then it sounds like they literally just play the game Man-Eater and they just want all this stuff. They want to be able to hold targets in its mouth and then like let them go and projectile shoot them with the tail. So pretty cool stuff there. Any more pictures? Doesn't seem like it. So yeah, just in general, I mean, like, another shark could be a really good choice for us. Size wise, obviously this is pretty big. It's not as big as the Megalodon, I don't think, anyway. I mean, maybe it kind of is. It's really hard to tell the scale of this versus the Megalodon because yeah, the Megalodon's such a weird size in ARK. But yeah, I don't know, man. This looks pretty cool. It's like a slender little shark. It almost kind of reminds me of the Helicoprion from the ARK Editions mod. Obviously missing the hacksaw face, but yeah, I really like that, actually. And to be honest, they look really cool, you know, what they actually looked like here. So yeah, definitely like that. It looks dope. It kind of almost seems like, yeah, the little like extra little bit on the fin is actually a little spine. I wonder if that could like come off and like trank out somebody or a creature or something like that. That could be kind of interesting. Anyway, yeah, that is the Saivodus, and yeah, pop them up top if you like them. All right, I'm gonna butcher this name, but it is a Thoracopterus. I'm not entirely sure. I had to look up these guys because I could have sworn there was something like this, and yeah, sure enough, there actually is. They're essentially like a little fish with almost wings, and they can kind of like jump out of the water and catch a little bit of air to escape predators, or maybe even catch like insects or smaller creatures at the water surface. So yeah, this is really cool. They can kind of almost like skim across the surface. Really like that. So honestly, this, you know, may not seem like a big scary creature that we could potentially get for ARK, but at the same time, something like this could be kind of cool. You know, a fast creature to get around the map would definitely make a lot of sense. And honestly, out of the 2 maps that we could get like an ocean creature, the center suits it a little bit more because it's a massive open map with lots of land pieces as well. So you know, having a creature to be able to get between those spots definitely would make a lot of sense, and this seems pretty good. I like that. I will say a little bit of criticism. I feel like at some point we'll get a TLC for the ichthyosaur, and it will probably end up getting the ability to jump out of the water, so that's one thing. The ichthyosaur itself is already a pretty fast creature anyway. It's not the fastest, but at the same time, still pretty good. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, this could be an interesting one. I guarantee that we could get some really cool mutations as well. So you'd have like these crazy colorful fish jumping out of the water. Yeah, I don't know, man. It could be pretty cool. And obviously being able to like travel fast underwater as well would be really interesting. I could see Wildcard incorporating quite a few of these things in here. So yeah, I don't know, man. Could be interesting, but yeah, pop them up top if you like them. Next up, we have the Hatzegopteryx. And yeah, this was actually in, I believe it was the island creature vote, obviously the one that the Rhino won in. I actually really liked this guy. I really liked the idea of it. It was almost kind of like presented as like a predatory Quetzal back then, but in this kind of submission, they have it as more of like a rescue creature. So essentially, they wanted to be able to kind of like protect your wild tame, so like a creature that you're taming up, it will just kind of sit around it and just bat away creatures that are trying to come at it. So obviously we all know like pesky bugs and stuff like that. It can like bat those guys away without dealing any damage that would hurt your creature, so that could be kind of interesting. Another idea that they have here is it would kind of like rescue you if you whistle it, so you're being attacked by like a creature and then it would just fly in, swoop you up, and then you can mount it from its beak or whatever. So I don't know, some interesting stuff there, honestly. That's Rodan. Okay, cool. Yeah, just in general, like, these guys are actually really interesting. I would love to see something like this. It's almost like, in my opinion, it should be more of like a predatory Quetzal, just because of the fact that it is that size and it looks a little bit more ferocious than a Quetzal, if I'm going to be honest with you. The only issue that I have with it in this vote is this vote is for like a map with a lot of water. Do we want a flyer? I don't exactly know. I don't know, man. I'm not saying don't vote for it, but I'm just saying, you know, maybe like let's think about the creature that we're actually wanting to put in, and think less of like what it actually is and just think more of how it's actually going to fit in, because a lot of people did not like the what is it even called, the Yeeling for Aberration. Obviously it's just a pseudo rock drake, and we don't want another situation like that where everybody's like kind of like, oh, that looks cool, let's get that, and then they're disappointed afterwards. So I'm not saying the Yeeling's not going to be a cool creature, but you know, it's probably still going to be pretty fun. But at the end of the day, I think that we need to kind of consider how the creature fits into the game before we kind of decide on what we actually want. But yeah, that's kind of terrifying looking. That drawing is very cursed. I don't know, it's something about the eyes. Oh my god. But yeah, the Hatzegopteryx could be a really interesting one. Again, you know, it does kind of suit the center, actually, I'll be honest with you, especially if you can like land on the water or something like that. I don't know, probably not at that size, but yeah, I don't know, man. What do you guys think? Drop them up top if you like them. We have another returning creature. This is the Miracinonyx. I don't know how to pronounce that. Miracinonyx, I think. Yeah. Anyway, this is the Cheetah. This is a creature that a lot of people really liked. I believe it came second in the Ragnarok vote with just slightly less than the Gigantoraptor, which actually won that vote. I'll be honest with you. You know, again, like, this could be a cool creature, but like, does it suit this map? Like, do you guys really think so? How are you gonna get across the ocean on this thing? You know? I'm not saying that we shouldn't vote for it. I'm just saying, why is there so many of this? What the hell? Okay, there we go. I'm just saying, you know, consider things before we place our vote here. But yeah, the whole idea with this guy is it would just essentially be a really fast traveling mount. Whether or not they implement everything else that they wanted to be able to do is another thing. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, it kind of does it like a cartoon style, but yeah, I'm not entirely certain if that would make a whole lot of sense in the game, being able to actually make fire behind you. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, if you guys like the idea of this guy, pop him up top. But again, just think about how it fits into the map. Like, something like this might suit Valguero a little bit better. Maybe even Crystal Isles. You know, we have plenty more maps to actually try and get these creatures if we really like them, you know. But we don't have very many options for, you know, creatures, like water creatures on these maps. Like, there's not that much water in many of the other maps that are coming. But yeah, like, I don't know, man. Like, something like this could be interesting. Again, they might not really add in a lot of what they're saying right here, but they probably will make it really, really fast. And I do have to compliment the artwork here. It looks really cool. In fact, there's actually like a tech saddle artwork, which I don't think they'd actually implement that, I'll be honest with you. But at the same time, looks really cool. I like that a lot. But yeah, honestly, you know, the center, again, lots of water. So do we want this? I don't know. But in the wild, I mean, like, it was just a cheetah, you know? Like, this is kind of what they look like. This is probably the closest representation to the actual artwork that was submitted. Yeah, kind of like color-wise and everything. This guy's a little bit chunkier, but yeah. Anyway, that is the Miracinonyx. Okay, I'm definitely going to butcher this name. This is the Bajadasaurus, maybe? I'm not entirely certain if that's how it's actually pronounced. This is a sauropod, which actually looks pretty interesting looking. I think I've seen these guys before, but they're kind of like somewhat similar. No, not entirely, but somewhat similar to the Amargasaurus in the way that they have like these spines on the back and the neck a little bit. They've got a little less spines, but they seem to be a little bit longer on these dudes. So yeah, just in general, like pretty cool looking creature. I think this is also one. This one seems to have the actual like kind of sails between them. So here, let me show you. So they have like a male and female kind of version. So this is what they want the female to look like. It would actually have like flesh between the spines, and it would almost kind of be more like little kind of like frills or sails or something like that. And then obviously it would be able to flare them out like that. And then the male one, I don't think would have those, but I don't really know what's going on here. It's like bulking up with air or something. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Like, sauropods, definitely we need more of them in the game. Again, is this the perfect map to get something like this? It's a cool creature. I think that we could probably get it on a different map. I'm not trying to give too much of my opinion of what you should be voting for. I'm just saying, I'm trying to get the logic in, because I don't know, honestly, a lot of people be disappointed with a lot of the winners, and you know, we need to put a lot of thought in, is what I'm trying to say. I should shut up about that though, I know. So these guys would be more of like an aggressive, you know, sauropod creature, which we don't have many of. Obviously, we have the Amargasaurus that's pretty aggressive. But yeah, so something like this would be pretty big and bulky. In terms of this versus the Amargasaurus, let me see. So this isn't a really great representation in this image, but yeah, you can kind of see that they're like roughly the same size as the Amargasaurus. The only thing that I would have an issue with this creature is it might get mistaken for the Amargasaur. Like, you might look at it and not think that it's a new creature or something like that. Again, I don't even know if these images are accurate, though. But yeah, I'm definitely a big, you know, fan of the idea of more sauropods in the game. We need them. Like, we don't have many, and like, there seems to be like a lot of theropods and all these other kind of creatures, and I feel like we need more big, bulky herbivores. Like, here's one thing that we realized recently. There has not been a single herbivore that has won any of these creature votes. At least I don't think so. From what I can think, I don't believe that there has been any of them. Obviously an omnivore in the Dinopithecus, but still, honestly, like, we need a herbivore. We need a big, bulky herbivore, but again, maybe not the best map for it, but in the future, could be a thing. So next up, we have the giant hermit crab, and I will be completely honest with you guys. I cannot look at hermit crabs seriously anymore after watching this video a long time ago. This is this amazing Australian YouTuber, and he casted like a metal hermit crab shell. It's not this one in this image, but it has Nazi symbols on it, and he basically put it out there, and a hermit crab took it, and there is a Nazi hermit crab somewhere on Earth, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so a giant hermit crab. Could this be a thing? I mean, it's a water creature, but it should also be able to come onto land as well, which could be kind of interesting. They have some images here of like different shells that you can find. That's one thing, you know, a creature like this could actually have different variations in terms of what you actually have on it. Obviously here, they're almost kind of like this. So you have like the metal set, which is like a giant metal shell, and it's almost like a big tank. We have an obsidian one. Yeah, honestly, something like this could be interesting. Biotoxin shell, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it? Maybe kind of, I don't know. Crystal shell, I don't know. Yeah, some of this kind of stuff could be interesting. The Great Escape, I assume that maybe you can like shed the shell and like run away on it really quick or something like that. Yeah, hermit crabs are weird, man. They really are. Like, what on earth is happening here? Are they like rolling, or what's happening? Is it like a hermit human centipede? I don't even know. And I guess maybe this is part of like the taming process. You have to like crack it out of its shell. That's kind of cruel, don't you think? I don't know. Yeah, hermit crab could be an interesting one. Honestly, you know, like something like this actually could be a really good thing to add in. I actually like the amount of photos that they have going on here as well. It looks really nice. But yeah, just in general, like, again, water creature suits that kind of category for me, and I don't know, it could be an interesting one. I don't really have anything else to say about it. Like, just a hermit crab could be cool. I will say, though, when I looked up this creature, I found a lot of pictures of Michael Jackson, and Yeah, it's I don't know why. It's very strange. So next up we have pretty much just an orca. It's a killer whale, or probably like a prehistoric kind of version of this guy, maybe a little bit more ferocious than the ones that we have nowadays, even though the ones that we have nowadays are the most terrifying creatures on Earth. Honestly, they look really cool. Love Shamu. Not a big fan of blackfish, obviously. That's a whole thing. But at the same time, these things are really scary. I've seen videos of them like pulling apart like engines on boats and stuff like that. So having something like that in ARK could be really cool. Honestly, yeah, you know, I'm not a big fan of the fact that we can get our rafts and boats attacked on ARK, but at the same time, something like this would be kind of interesting. Maybe it would like not be able to damage the raft or boat or whatever, but it would be able to kind of like just stop it and like stun your boat essentially and keep it there for a little while they bait you into the water for a little swim. Yeah, honestly, something like this, very, very cool. I like the look of orcas. They obviously are really beautiful creatures in real life. You know, like, could be an interesting one in ARK. At the same time, though, they are absolutely ferocious. So if they added this, it would need to be a really scary, powerful creature. It would need to almost be like the king of the ocean. So yeah, honestly, I'm all down for something like that. That sounds amazing. So yeah, it's essentially just a killer whale, an orca. There's probably a lot of information here, but you can kind of come to your own conclusions on what wildcard would actually make it do, which would be mostly just being an absolute savage, killing things and playing with their food as well. They like play with like seals and like slowly kill them. It's horrifying. But yeah, that should be an ARK for sure. Next up, we have the Nothosaurus, and this has been in quite a few votes so far. I believe this is probably like its 4th appearance or something like that. And you know what? Maybe this is the one where it actually ends up somewhere high up on the list, because I believe every time so far it's ended up towards the end. So this is a semi-aquatic creature, which kind of suits the map, of course. And yeah, honestly, they were not that big in real life, but again, you know, ARK has like a thing of making the creatures gigantic. Here's like a Jurassic World toy or something like that. Pretty cool looking. But this drawing right here, like with the colors and everything, I really like that. It's almost kind of like a deep sea Nothosaurus. One thing about the center, actually, something like this could really suit that, like a creature that has like deep sea illuminance, because obviously on the center, I don't know how many people have actually bothered going to this spot, but there's like a really super deep ocean, and I believe that the initial plan for the center was to actually add in a tech cave to that spot. I remember specifically that was in their plans, but then they scrapped it at some point. And this, I'm talking like 6 years ago, by the way, so I'm not sure how easy it would be to find this information. But yeah, so that super deep ocean, I believe, was supposed to be the way into the tech cave. Obviously, that's not going to become a thing, but you know, there's a massively deep ocean, and maybe putting these guys in there and making them really cool and amazing creatures could be a good idea. So what can they actually do then? So yeah, the idea behind this guy is they wanted to be able to heat up from the sun and then be able to boil water around it, and essentially use that for a couple different abilities. You know, just in general, something like that could be kind of cool. I'm not certain if it really makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah, when I look at this, I see a deep sea creature, not a creature that's going to heat up from the sun, but then again, I don't know. I mean, like, wildcard could potentially do something like that. I'm not entirely sure how that would work. But yeah, you know, it could be used for a bunch of different kind of abilities and stuff. So yeah, that's the Nothosaur. I mean, like, we could go more into detail, but I'm not 100% certain if wildcard would actually do all that stuff. Do like this artwork though. That's really cool. Next up, we have the Shastasaurus, and I really like this. This is a cool idea. It's essentially a, obviously, like, these guys were real, of course. It's a relatively big ocean creature. I mean, even in real life, they're already pretty big, so they can make them even bigger in ARK. I've definitely seen these guys in a couple, like, modded, kind of like Jurassic Park kind of models and stuff like that. So pretty cool. But their idea is to essentially make it like a full-on submarine. Honestly, when I look at this, I'm just seeing like just Subnautica, and now I want to play Subnautica again. But yeah, I really like this idea, actually. The whole idea of like the platform saddles was cool and all, but like having a full-on submarine saddle, like a full-on ocean base on the back of one of these guys, could be interesting. And that would mean that, you know, for the center, again, it would perfectly suit that map because the ocean's massive, but it would also really make a lot of sense to kind of add like a big, great creature to the center that is difficult to get, because obviously something like this should be really difficult to tame, you know. It's massive, obviously, in this photo right here, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I really, truly feel like if they added something like this, they'd need to make it very, very difficult to get. It almost looks like it has like torpedoes, does it? I think it might. That's it, obviously, without the saddle on it. Looks really cool. I like the kind of artwork here as well. It looks nice. And there's actually the photo that we just saw on Google as well of the actual size of this guy. So honestly, that all lines up. I really I think that something like this could be really perfect. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like a full-on submarine saddle where you're actually able to have your creatures inside. You're able to actually, like, it looks like there's multiple levels and everything as well. I think Wildcard could probably knock it out of the park. But at the end of the day, I will say something like this would end up being a tech saddle, which would mean that you're going to probably need to defeat the boss arena on the center first. And yeah, you know, the Broodmother and Megapithecus together, not super difficult to do, I wouldn't say. So I don't know, man, like this could be great. I really like this, and it definitely suits the center for sure. But yeah, that is the Shastasaurus. I like that dude. Definitely have seen him in a couple mods. For sure have like tamed one in like a Jurassic Park series. All right, so last but not least, we have the giant lobster. And yeah, we all know what a lobster is, but I mean, this is a prehistoric giant version of it where it's able to grab at humans and stuff. So that's kind of terrifying. What is happening in this one right here? It looks like it's kind of like grabbing like a megalodon or something. That's strange. Anyway, yeah, so this dude essentially would be a semi-aquatic creature, because obviously you could bring a lobster out onto land. Maybe not for a huge amount of time, but at the same time you should be able to do that. I mean, we have the Europterids already coming out of the water, which shouldn't be a thing. So something like this is just a little bit bigger than those guys. Slightly different, obviously, I know, but still. So yeah, obviously right here, we have it just like grabbing a player. It's very strange looking. I don't know what's going on here. What else do we have? A rare blue lobster, pretty cool. Honestly, if they add this, I'm just gonna call it Zoidberg. Like, why would you not do that? So yeah, essentially just a really giant lobster. What do they actually want it to be able to do? Underwater Daedon. Okay, again, another healing creature in the water could be interesting. So claw attacks and then a claw grab as well. Yeah, pretty cool. Honestly, you know, giant lobster, another crustacean could be an interesting one. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about it? What do you guys think about all of these creatures? Which ones are you going to vote for? Drop your top 10 down below, or maybe just your top 3 if you don't want to write them all out. But yeah, guys, definitely go over and vote. The link will be down below. And the vote closes on, hang on one second. I believe the vote ends on the 21st. So we have like just basically a week to go ahead and vote, cast your votes. And obviously we're going to get the reveal, not this Friday, but the Friday afterwards, after the vote has ended. So yeah, guys, if you have enjoyed this one, go ahead, do me a favor, hit the like button. Let me know what you guys are voting for, and I will catch you in the next one.